All right, everyone, welcome back to the day two for still our first project on QA/QC ALM. ALM is still something that I've used as a term, but as I said, in this version of the training for this month, we're going to use QC as it is easy for you to install and start practicing at your end. And then next month, we'll get on to ALM and it'll be part of the same package. So, yesterday, as a brief overview, if you look at it, team, I introduced you to the overall approach of what we're going to do in the training, how it's going to help you in achieving your goal of finding your job in QA. And what I want to do today is continue with the same speed about the application that we introduced as Project One, that we try and take. Shankar is going to execute it, assuming that he is working on that as a project, and which we are actually working on testing. And he's going to show how we do it. As part of which, he's going to train you, teach you what are the important concepts of the basic fundamental ground rules for testing, and then we'll get into using some tools like Jira, Bugzilla, and QC, and that will really help you to lay your lovely foundation to kickstart your career in the IT industry through software testing. Now, having said that, I will hand over the session to Shankar as a presenter. He's going to take it forward, and then what we will do is towards the end, for the last 5 minutes or so, I will take a few minutes from each of you to talk about what next. So, Shankar, I have quickly made you the presenter. At this time, you should be able to share your screen and continue
Sure.
from there.
So I'm trying to share my screen at this moment. Just confirm once you're able to see it.
Yeah, I can. I'm assuming everyone else as
Okay,
can. So, go on, please. Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. So a quick recap of what we started doing it yesterday. Then we'll quickly get into the actual part of the testing of this particular application. So I said like we have got a client who is the Howly.in is a application. It's basically a web application. So where we can try to share the videos and then you can give that link which you can share it on your WhatsApp, Facebook, and things like that. So the scenario that we have got into, or the situation that we have explained was you have been hired as a QA engineer for that particular application, and you are expected to validate it completely, whatever the new features that are coming up. I will try to explain the corresponding scope of what you're going to do it for this application. So, but let's assume we have got some new requirement for validating this application, and then you have to release into customers. So you could be a intern who is trying to do internship, or a fresher, or an experienced, but may not be in IT. So you don't really know what exactly the world of software testing and how you about go about doing that particular application. So so typically you will be in the part of role as an associate software test engineer or a training QA engineer, and you are expected to perform certain responsibilities that you will be primarily in the form in the part of the testing team, and you will be contributing to the successful delivery of this particular project. So in order to do that, you will be identifying, reporting, and owning certain defects until they get closure and released to the market. So for that, you will be preparing certain test scenarios, test cases. Is that what we are actually going to do it within few minutes from now? And then you will also be reporting those defects to the corresponding people so that they can take the action and get back to you when it gets fixed. So this is a typical role and responsibility. So at this moment, don't really much focus on or worry about test plan, test strategy. We'll be discussing them as we move ahead. So in order to do all that, as I said, what are the baby steps that you're going to do it? Now, once the access is given to your application, you might be still in a confusion. Okay, where should I start testing of this application? And how about how do I test this one? The way to start, way to end, and whether it is a defect or not, whatever I found is a defect or not, where to report. So all these kind of questions will be coming in your mind. So that's why we're going to do it now. We'll go a step-by-step understanding of what is the new requirement that is given to us, what is the scope for us to do this particular testing, and overall you will try to get a feel of the entire application if possible. But otherwise, your major activities on the scope that is limited to you, and then you will try to document everything what you're going to do, because tomorrow your test lead or test manager might ask you hey, what are the things that you have tested? So you should have something in handy to show them these are all the scenarios that I have covered. And then you should communicate the status back to the team. Today, this is how much I've completed, and these are the test cases completed. These are the bugs that I found, things like that. So a process which is very important in order to do the things. So let's look at the application one more time and let's see what exactly we're going to do it. So in this application, let's say as soon as I log in into this the only.n, this is how it will try to come in. Let's say I'll go to the home page and let's assume this funny category and cute category. Let's say these are the two categories that have been newly added into the application. Other things there are already existing. Let's say the home, advertisement, animals, and things like that, they were already existing. Uh, what we are trying to add in this particular release is, let's say these are the two categories. So our requirement is to validate these two completely and ensure a sign off that okay, the application is ready for the shipping, it's ready for the customers. So let's try to write down the clear requirement what we have it. So the requirement that we have got it is two new categories added called cute and funny. So this is the new requirement. Now our scope is also will be around this only. We are not going to bother about the entire application at this moment because the entire application, let's assume it's already being tested by some other team or some other testers, whatever it is already being let's say being validated and it's good. Your scope is only around this. You're not going to test this entire application. So the scope is limited only to this particular thing. So that is what is the meaning of scope. Like since yesterday when we were trying to close, somebody was trying to understand what exactly the scope. So we generally try to say what is in scope and out of scope. So I'll write down what is in scope for us is only two categories that we are going to do. Again, the same thing, cute and funny. What about out of scope? Out of scope is rest of the thing. So rest all other categories. All other categories. So now we are clear what is exactly in our plate and what we have to do it. It's not that we are going to do the entire application now. It's only for these two. So the requirement is to validate this. That is clear. And what we are going to validate, what is in scope for us, that is also clear. And what is out of scope for us to do the testing, that is also clear. So once we understand the requirement, scope, and out of scope, now let's try to go and derive some of the test scenarios and the test cases that what exactly we're going to do it. So here we will try to write down the test scenarios as like this. Sorry. So here we have to validate two scenarios. So one is validate the cute category feature. This is one scenario. Sorry. The second scenario which I'm going to do is validate the funny category feature. Now these are the two scenarios, and in order to validate this category, you may be going and writing different test cases, which we will be doing it, so that you can call it as a test case. The scenario which I'm going to do validate is the category, cute category, and the second scenario which I'm going to do is the funny category. And each one of these scenarios, so this is like scenario 1, this is scenario 2, and this might come up with some 10 different test cases that we will write it, and this might also have some 8 different test cases or 10 different test cases. So those are, we call them as test cases. So typically a scenario will result in multiple test cases, which we call them as positive test cases, negative test cases, things like that. Some of them related to UI, some of them related to functionality. It's like that. So but typically at high level, validating that particular thing or the category feature is what you can call it as a scenario. So let's see how, just give this number as a 10. We may come a little bit of less, little bit of high. So let's see how do we write the test cases for about it. So we don't know what is test case and what is the format and how to write it. So we started with some a very general way of validating this application is something like this. I started with step one. We can revisit now. The first thing that if I wanted to verify whether this cute category or funny category exists or not, the very first thing that I have to do is launch the application. That is, any user has to do that, and then only he can validate the rest of the thing. So the first thing that what we have written was launch this particular holiday.in website, and the expected thing that what we are trying to do is the home page should come up. That's what we are saying. Just a quick look at the question. Somebody saying I'm not able to hear. Is it the case with most of the people or just specific to Venkatraman?
You know what? I'll reply
Okay,
to Raman Shankar. You can proceed because typically what
sure,
happens
sure.
is some members cannot hear, and that is not because of initial and because we have dozens of them who are attending. They all should be fine. So I'll reply to it. You can
Sure,
keep.
sure, yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. Thanks. So the very first thing that we have to do is the launch the application. That's the fundamental step. And the expected thing that we are trying to say is the home page should come up. So if at all that is happening, like yesterday we just tried doing that, launching even today we've just launched the website and it is coming up. So you would say the result for that particular test case is pass. And then you wanted to check the different categories available, especially the funny categories available. So that is also available. So you will say pass. And then you will say click on the funny category, and then it should show the videos that are related to the funny category. For example, so when I click on this, whether it is opening the funny related, so you can see the category here, and you can see that the category title coming as funny and all the videos that are related to the funny category. So I would say at high level, this particular thing is working, so we made it as pass. To add more cases, even the second category also we need to test. So I will just write the steps for the other one also. Then I would say check the funny category exists. The expected result, it says, funny category should be available. So if that is also be available, we'll try to make that as a pass. And then let me add another step, something like click on, sorry, we have already covered the funny. I'll just make this as cute. So cute category should be available. And then I will say click on the cute category link. So it's basically a link in a web application, so you can have more specific step like that. Similarly, here also I can try to make it as category link, and it should show the videos of cute category. So we have two more steps added. So altogether we have added 5 steps. We'll try to make them and more better in terms of the test case. But at this level, at the very beginning level, when you don't know the test case format and all, you have just added 5 steps to do some validation here. And in this, right now, all of them are happening. Let me do the second one also. So just I have showed you only the funny. So let me go click on this cute. And let's say we are able to see the category and that's related to the cute, and we're able to see a couple of videos that are expected out of this cute category. So most of the applications that we try to use it and in our day-to-day life, they're already well tested before releasing to the market. So you might not see much of the issues with those applications. But if it is an application which is under test, the way that we are testing the Holiday.in, we will definitely get a couple of errors. So as we move, we will come to know what kind of errors we are getting and things like that. But at this moment, so everything is working fine. So I'll make this also pass. And then just I'll make this color code so that the result is Just give me a few seconds. I'm really sorry at this moment. It's taking a bit of time. So, so what we'll try to do now is from this fundamental way of writing this step, so we'll try to add more and more columns so that it will be a proper test case, and we'll try to bring it to the proper format of the test case. Uh, Sorry. Okay. You can have the same thing. Sorry. Please, sorry. I'm just checking it. I'll do one thing. This is let's not worry about this, and then now I'll just try to make it. Okay, so now if you look at this particular to-do thing, right? So here we have two things. Like one, we are saying launching the website, and also we are trying to say this homepage should come up. So instead of putting these together into one single step, so let me just try to separate it, what actually we are trying to do and what we are expecting it. So for that, let me just add one column over here. So just sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this particular thing, what we are expecting. So I'll make this as a to-do step, and I'll make this as the expected result, what you're actually trying to verify. And in this, whatever you're trying to say, launch this particular application, I will write it here. So I'll just say launch this particular website is the first step, and the expected result for that is now previously everything was together, so we are trying to say just the home page should come up, but we should actually be more specific and say which home page should come up. So I will be writing it as the Holly.in home page should come up. So that is my first expected result in that particular thing. And if at all you wanted to validate any other thing, for example, when as soon as I just browse it, it will be like this. So you may, or it will be like this. So without anything, and you can say, suppose you wanted to say the home page URL also should look like this, then I will go and put that here. So I'll just add one other extra expected result. It should, the URL should be like this one. So the very first step, what I'm trying to say is launch the Holy.in website, and expected result which should happen is the home page should come up and the URL should be pointing to this one. Similarly, I will go about for other steps. So other steps, let's say we have the next step was the different categories available, funny category should be available, but let's try to make this as more proper one. So typically when we write the steps in a test case, it will either be starting with a check, a verify, a validate, or ensure. These are the simple keywords that will help us in validating. So I would say something like check the funny category exists, okay, in the categories list. So what we're trying to do is, let's see if that particular very first category that we wanted to check is available or not. So for that, I'm writing the step as check the funny category exists in the list. So the expected result is going to be very simple. So you'll make that the funny category, you can say probably a link should be available. So we are not clicking in on that at this moment. We're just trying to say that particular category is available. So the next step that we're going to do is click on the category funny. So we will just try to click on the category. So we can remove that step from here. The expected result will be something like this. It shows all the videos of the funny category. It will try to show all the videos of the funny category. So first we are checking whether the link available or not. If, for example, if the link itself is missing in the application, so here itself you will end up that you cannot proceed further, and at that time, so when we execute the test case, we look at it, at that time you'll make this particular step as failed, and you'll try to halt or stop then and there, because you cannot really click on if the link does not exist. So the first step is to check that is available, and the next step is to click on the funny category, and then we are saying it should show all the videos of the funny category. Similarly, the other category that we wanted to check, so try to write the same consistent way, the way you are writing the other test cases. And another important point that we have to remember, when we write the test cases, we may not be the only one who will be executing it. So typically if you have, let's say, a team of 2 people or more than 2 people, so we will try to do the situations in real time like this. Whatever I write, the other person will be executing, or other person will be reviewing whether it is correct or not, and he will be executing it. Similarly, whatever he or she writes, I will be executing. So always we'll keep in mind that we may not be the only person who will be writing and who will be executing it. Sometimes we may need to give these test cases to client also, client or customer who may be performing certain testing in their environment. So we have to be follow the consistency, and it should be easy to understand, read by the other folks also. So check the funny category exists in the category, the cute category basically. So that's the next one. And here the expected result, will just try to make it as something like cute category should be available in the categories list. Then I will try to click on that, click on the category cute, and then we'll say it shows all the videos of the funny category. Similarly, it will say it shows all the videos of cute category. So what I did was, previously when we started doing the baby step, we kind of written as what to do and what to expect, but it is always better to separate it, like what exactly you wanted to do and what you wanted to get. So this to do is actually the steps that you are performing in the application. So as part of the test case, you can call them as a test steps. So you can call them as a test steps, and you can have this order thing as something called a test case ID or a test case name. So test case ID or a test case name, we can make it. And here now if you see, we are trying to do all the navigations in one part of it. Like for example, we are saying the first one is just launching the application. Even if I have to do these 2 steps, I have to do this, or even if I wanted to do these 2 steps directly, I have to do that. But altogether 5 steps, we are trying to put it in one single series of steps, which is actually, there are 2 different categories. So let's try to do make them separate. So for example, here I would make this as something called TC001, the test case 1. This is a step for that. And similarly, I will try to make this also a test case 1. And this is also a test case 1. Basically, it is a step 1 of the test case, and this is step 2 of the test case, and this is step 3 of the test case. And the next one that I'm going to do is this is something like, let's try to make it as test case 2, and let's try to make this as test case 2. So when we look at this, wherever the test case 1 starting up, these are the 3 steps for the test case, and these are the 2 steps for the test case, assuming that you are continuing by launching the application and you're going to execute them. But at least now this ID makes it separate. Okay, these 2 steps belongs to one test case and these 2 belongs to one test case. As we move ahead into the better format, this will be a common step for both of them, because if somebody trying to execute independently, you should be able to launch and execute these 2. Similarly, if you want to go for these 2 also, you should be able to launch and execute it. So this is like a common step in both of them. So we'll see how we can better segregate it as a pre-step or the very first step in both of the test cases. So at this moment, so we have just understood what is this. So there are different naming conventions. People will try to follow it. So at the very basic level, let's put it as TC stands for the test case, and this is the first test case, and this is a second test case. And also, if you look at the expected result, so we can also try to add more expectations. Like for example, here we are saying funny category link should be available. And the second one, when I click on the category of funny, so we are saying all the videos of the funny category should be available. And also, let's see what the URL it is going to change, and what are the other things that are coming up. For example, when I click on this, so the very first thing that we can observe is we should see the category title coming up as funny. So let's put that also into the expected result. And also it is showing a couple of videos. Probably this is the topmost watching video, let's say, and that's why we have put it as the first one. So even that is very important for us to validate, because as a business we have taken a decision that this is the most popular one at this moment, so it should come up in the first. So let's try to add that also into our expected result. So the second result that I'm trying to make is the category title should also show funny, because it may also happen, for example, if my developer forgot to update this category according to the category that I'm clicking up, it may happen that whatever the category I click, for example, this title is not changing. It should be dynamically changing based on what I click. For example, when I go to animation, it should show the category as animation. So a developer can do a mistake. He's also a human being. He can do a mistake by not updating this particular category. So for an end user, it's not really a good feel. What is happening is he's trying to click on the funny category, but the category is showing, let's say, embarrassed. So there itself ends the matter. So he'll be surprised what this category is showing, what I clicked it. So the developer has to take care of it, dynamically changing this particular category title according to what user clicks on it. So that is very important validation that we can definitely make it. So I'm showing, I'm trying to write here the category title should show as funny. And another thing that we wanted to check, the very first video should display is, so according to the business requirement, let's say whatever this LMAO, funniest cooking video ever, so that's the one that should come up, right? So I would say is you can have in double quotes the video name and all that. The funniest cooking ever. So this is the one that should come up. Because if anything else that will come up right now, it may not be much value to the business, because this is the most popular one and this is what is hit by most of the people. So we are expecting that. So we have added more of what we are expecting, and that's what the expected result at this moment for test case 1, the second step, which is when I click on the, oh, I'm sorry, I'll just say this will be the, I'm really sorry, this will be the expected result for when I click on the funny. Now just try to understand now. So the first one says it's just only checking, so it's available. So there I'm not expecting many of them. But when I click on the category, that is when I'm expecting all these steps. It shows all the videos of the funny category that is happening, and it should show the title should be of funny, and then this is the first one that should come up. So it's sorry, it was not under this, it is under this particular thing. Now similarly, we can add it for other things. So check the cute category exists in the category list. This is the only expected result that I'm trying to say, that cute category should be available in the categories list. But suppose you have another business requirement like this, it should be available beside to the funny. For example, you have some business requirement like this. Now I wanted to we don't know, let's say they may be categorized as per the alphabetic order. For example, here I don't think so, because H is coming first, A is coming, so that's not the category. But we have a specific business requirement or a general expectation that the end users who will try to browse the video says logically making together. For example, if somebody is in a good mood and they may have just wanted to watch some of the funny things, cute things, so they should be beside. It's not something like cute somewhere else and funny somewhere else and in between some fail mode. And no, we're not expecting that. Let's say the business scenario is these two should be side by side, for example. So now I'm just trying to add that when I go check the cute category exists in the category list, yes, cute category should be available in the list, and it should be available just beside the funny part, either left or right, does not matter. If you're specifically talking about anything, you can write it as it should be the left side of the funny or whatever, but at this moment it should be just beside that. So this kind of thing is also part of my expected result for this particular step. Okay, the next thing, when I click on the category list, what should happen, the funny list, what should happen, sorry, so this is the same thing which I can copy from here, and I'll try to make it as an expected result for the next one also. And all that I'm going to do is it's a cute category. So it shows all the videos of cute category. Just try to put it in a single quote or double quote so that the category name will be highlighted, and the category title should show as cute, and the very first video. So here let's see what is the very first video that is coming up when I click on the cute category. Okay, so the very first thing that is coming up is the funny baby. So for example, that's what we are expecting. So I'll just make this as okay. So I'll just take a little bit of pause to see if we have any important questions related to this topic, and then if I can answer them. So I don't understand how you label the test case ID. That's fine. So it is a very simple thing. It's like TC stands for the test case, and this is my test case 1, which has 3 steps, and my test case 2 at this moment has 2 steps, so I just named them as TC001 and TC002. So ideally what happens when we go to any of the test management tools, like what we're talking about, quality center and all, this will just come as only one text box where you enter the test case ID, and the rest of the things will be following as a step. So uh, different naming conventions people will follow, like if you're just wondering why 001, I'm assuming at this moment that I will be having some about maximum of 999 cases in this application, so I just started with 001. But if you think that you will have more than that, you can have just the TC1, TC2 like that, or you can have TC 0001. So the other questions like what type of testing is covered in test scenario. So now corresponding to this scenario that we have started, just validating the cute category and validating the funny category, at this moment, whatever the 2 test cases that I have written, they are functional test cases. What we are trying to validate is We're trying to click on that and see that page is coming up, category is coming up, URL is changing up or not. It all comes under functionality. But as we move ahead, we will try to do different things on the UI, whether all the videos are properly aligned or not. For example, if one of the video is overlapping in another video, it does not look good, right? So that comes under the UI part. Or if one category name is overlapping in another category, that's again not a good look for the UI. For example, here, if there is no proper gap in these category names, or if they are not properly, let's say there is a spelling mistake. For example, in advertisement, there is a spelling mistake. So that all comes under the UI part of it. So at this moment, what we are focusing on is only the functionality. So test case 2 for funny, test case 2 for cute. Oh, okay, so what I get it is like, since this is coming up in the first one, so should I make this as test case 1 and this as test case 2? Yes, basically the order of thing that you're going to verify, but let's assume I got the feature delivered to me in this order. Let's say first funny got added. Let's assume. So these are the two requirements that we have to deliver in this system, and my developer segregated as two different features or two different sub features. First, let's assume he delivered to me the funny one, and then he delivered to me the cute one. So I will be going and putting this as test case 1 and this as test case 2. If he delivered this one, then I will put this test case 1 and test case 2. It's not real, it's a way how you got those features. But yes, if somebody is looking at the order, yes, so you would expect cute is coming first, so you may think test case 1 is cute, and category the funny is coming next, so you may have test case 2. So it's all how you have got the application. But if both of them are coming at this moment, yes, what you're saying is correct. I can interchange the test cases. Or performance or system testing is also part of the test scenario. So right now, in the world of software testing, there are about many techniques that are available. So let's not get into them at this moment. What we are actually doing is only the functionality testing. What is load testing, performance testing, security? We'll have so many things. We will do all that, but as a step by step. So if I try to bring in all of them, there are some other folks who are not even heard about those names, and they'll get try to confuse. So at this moment, we are focusing only on the functionality and little bit of any UI and things like that. So don't we need to put the test steps number? So we can also put that this is the test step 1, this is test step 2. For example, in sometimes what will happen is I can also see just for the making it simple, I can do like this. Since most of us are trying to ask about this, I'll just try to make this category. There's another way. I'm just trying to make it so that it will be easy. I hope it will eliminate all the confusions that you have. So in the test case 1, I have step 1, and this is step 2, and this is my step 3. So I have test case 1, which is going to validate, launch this website, check this category available, and click on the category link, category funny. So the expected results will be like this now. So homepage should come up, URL should be available, and this should be available, and also all these things will go as your expected results. We are going to validate so many things in this particular one test case, and now I'm good to remove these two things. So now this is one test case. Let me try doing the same thing for the other one, even if somebody is going to individually execute it. So I'll just so again, if somebody is going to independently execute this test case, he should also launch the website and then check the cute category exists or not, and then he should also go about clicking on that, So that is the second test case. Now when it comes to the expected result, so he will be having, this is the third step, which is going to be, which is the third expected result, the fourth expected result, and the fifth expected result. Now if you see, I just try making it very simple, only two test cases now. Previously also two test cases, but the only thing, the steps were also in a different rows. But now I have everything under this particular single cell. So where you can see the first step is I launch this, second I will click on this, and then check this is available, and third I can click on this one. When I do this, corresponding to this entire test case, these are all the different expected results. Similarly for the second one, whoever, so let's assume we have two different people, and I will be giving this for one person, giving this to the other person. So both of them will be launching the website, both and then independently verifying this. So it makes sense to have the first step also in both of them now. So, and this is expected result. Is it clear now? Previously there were some people who were having confusions around why we have steps and where should I put the IDs and things like that. I hope this is very clear now. This is the test case one, and these are the steps for the test case, and these are the expected results for that. And what is this result? You can have, we can actually rename this to actual result. What is actual result is whatever is happening on the application. Now it is let's try to make this as actual result now, because whatever is actually happening on the application, in fact whatever my developer implemented it, that is the actual. What is expected result? This is what is coming out of for me to expect out of the application. And then if you're wondering how did you know this, how you are expecting like this, so this will be given to both the development team and testing team as a small requirement in a requirement document, or maybe a requirement specification as a small feature. To the existing Howley.in application, these two categories should be available, and when you do this thing should be available, so you'll get it as a requirement document. Not only you, developer also will get it, and he should implement it according to that, and we should test it according to the same. So now we can keep on adding certain things related to the UI and other things. Let's try and make it very simple at this moment. This is what you're actually trying to verify. But the same test case, for example, actually this is enough in terms of functionality for these two categories. But let us assume if you are expected to verify the entire application, suppose you are expected to verify all the categories, whether they are coming or not, right? For example, because we started with a simple feature so that you'll understand it better, but let's assume you're the whole tester of this particular entire application. You have to validate the entire features of the application. Let us assume it is like a version 1. As we said, like yesterday, it is in a pre-beta version. So you suppose if you're expected to verify all the categories, this label is coming or not, and all that kind of stuff, then let's see how we can generalize this test case for all the other categories what we're going to verify. Now there are so many categories we have, like I have home, advertisement, animals, and things like that. So one question that I will have in my mind immediately is, should I write test case for each one of them and verify? Ideally speaking, yes, because we will try to make something called a traceability. I'll just talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll move ahead to the actual application. So we will have to do something called traceability. What is this traceability is, you will try to map all your test cases to the requirements of the application. So the requirements we have got, let's say, to implement all the categories. So definitely you should have test cases also for all the categories. So when we try to do this traceability between the requirement and the test case, we will come to know if we miss out any of the test case. If any, for example, I forgot to write test case for one of the category, so I will be able to catch it when I do this particular traceability matrix between the test cases and requirement. We'll talk about it in detail as we move. So just now I've explained. So traceability is like you're trying to trace whether all the test cases are covered as per your requirement or not. You have got, let's say, 1 to 10 requirements. Each requirement should have corresponding test case. That's all about it at this moment. If you miss out anything, you will come to know from the traceability that, okay, oh, I missed out this particular kids category, or I missed out. Okay, so somebody saying test case number, no precondition and all that. Yes, it will be there, all that. We will try to make a baby steps now. We started with, so this is somebody who is actually talking about is, you might have some little bit of idea, you might have seen the test case format somewhere, but what is that I'm trying to introduce, or what we're trying to do, introduce it here is a person who really not aware of anything, how he started and how he is evolving. But if I directly put the test case format, it'll have so many columns. It'll have the preconditions, it'll have the test data column, it'll have your expected result, actual result, reference to your requirement. So many things will be there. Pranik, we'll come to that level. We will, as I said, like we will be coming to step by step, and then we will evolve into a IEEE standard format of the test case that most of the companies will follow. Okay, so coming back, that's a simple thing that we will try to do to ensure that I'm not missing out any of the category. So now if I have all these different categories, and if I have to verify all the categories, yes, I can go write test case 1 for this, test case 2 for this, 3, 4, 5, like that. That is one way of doing it. At the beginning, I would suggest you can try doing that. It's just a copy paste of most of the expected results. You can do that. But what I'm going to do here right now is I will try to use these two test cases, or one of the test case itself, to ensure we will be validating all these things. But at the very beginner, it is better you should go and try writing the test case for each one of the category. But you can also make use of the same test case that what we have just written, maybe one of the test case itself. Can you move the screen up, please? Not able to see. I just defined it here. I'm not sure whether you can see it or not. I just defined it that we can verify test case against the requirement. Okay, so now I'll just try to make this particular test case itself a more generic one, so that we will be validating all the categories. So for that, to make it generic, what I will I'm sorry. So what I will do is, the first step is very common. Whatever the category that I wanted to verify, I need to launch to this particular website. That is fine. But here we have some specific thing that we are trying to verify as funny. So I would say check. Let's say you can have some name to it. Check. I would say all the categories exist in the categories list. What are those all the categories? For example, I will give some names here, which will actually go as a test data column when we discuss next. But I'll just try to make it this time funny, comma, cute, etc. So now I'm just writing it as only one step that we'll try to do. Check all the categories exist, and then I would say I don't specify anything to click on this. I would say click on a category. Say click on a categories, one of the category. I would say like say funny. Now the expected, this is a more generic test case, and then we will have one more sheet. Probably let me go here. I will try to add what is that a category that I have to click, and what is the expected behavior and things like that. So let's add two simple rows here. One is the category name. So when you click on the category, which category that you wanted to do. Like previously we said, let's say for example funny category, and then what it should come up. Okay, so I'll just put it this as something like test data. Let's have it as a test data column. So here I would say category name, and then category results, let's say, what should come up. So these two, I'll just try to make them as bold. They are the headings for us, and I just try to make this. So when I click on, let's say, cute category, as somebody we were saying, cute is coming first, so let's try to make that. Or even we have other things that we wanted to verify, so we can add them as we go. So cute, in that case of cute, what you are actually expecting it. So I would say all the videos of cute, or for example, you're trying to verify. So we will try to write the expected result also will be a little bit of generic in such a way that it should show all the corresponding categories and all. But let's take this first video. For example, if I want to make the first video, it should come this funny baby. In terms of cute, it should be funny baby. So I'll just try to make that as funny baby video is the first one. Similarly, for funny category, so we have this LMAO. So let's assume as of now I'm just trying to make under which category what is the first one to come up. The other things, other expected results, I'll try to make it little bit of generic so that we don't be having any problem. So now I just made what is specific to this as the test data here. Now let's come back and try to make this test case little bit of generic. So we are not writing this test case anything specific to funny or cute. We are trying to make it generic. Launch the website, click on check all the categories exist. Example, we just gave one or two, and then it should be available. So now expected result will be the home page should come up. Now this second result does not make any sense now because we are not sorry, this is okay. The URL should come up for the first one, that's fine. We are saying funny category link should be available. That is not going to make anything sense now because we are not writing anything specifically. So let me remove that. So let's have the step like it should shows all the videos from the category. Corresponding to the second step, I'm writing the expected result now. All the categories mentioned in, let's say, so we'll try to make this test data. Let's have some numbering for this, or I can say, let's assume this is the sheet you're going to refer. So you can say all the categories mentioned in test data sheet should be available. So you can have just refer to that particular sheet name, and you can say it should be available from that. The next step, what you're going to do, you are going to click on the category. So in that case, when I click on the category, whatever the category I will click. For example, I might click on animation, I might click on cute, I might click on funny. So what we're trying to say is a very generic result. The corresponding videos from the category should be displayed. The corresponding videos from that particular category, whatever the category I will click, that should be available. The fifth step I'm trying to make is the title should be as per the category that user clicked. So just now we have discussed if somebody clicks on cute, the category title should come as that. And then I will say another step is The first video should come up as per the test data sheet. Again, in the test data, we are mentioning what is this. The first one should come up. I would say category results. I would say make it more sense like first video. So this is the category name. When you click on this video should come. When you click on this video should come. So that we are actually referring it here. So now this particular test case 2 is not required because previously we were ideally, as I already told you, if you're a beginner, try writing it for each category. It will make you practice, make you perfect. Most of the times what you'll do is copy paste it, but still good practice to do that. But at this moment, since we are not talking about any other features, any other functionality, I would say this is fine. I can just have one test case, which is a generic test case. I would say in testing terminology, we call it as a parameterized test case. When we go to automation with QTP, Selenium and all, you will understand it better, but otherwise also it's very simple. What we are trying to do is we are trying to write one test case, but we have different test data to test it, like these two, and what we're going to expect. So we're going to refer it from here. It's called, I'll write it here just in case if somebody wants to understand. It's called parameterized test case. So don't worry too much on that. When we look at in any of the test management tools and all, we will be otherwise also we will be writing in the upcoming sessions more about these parameterized test cases and all. So let's try to understand what exactly we have done. So the first step we are trying to do is launch this site, and then we are checking all the categories that should be available. What categories we are mentioning here? Whatever is mentioned in the test data. So if we are writing the test case for all of the categories, then it should come here all the categories names, like whatever you have, home, funny, animation, embraced, all the categories should come. So whoever is going to execute this test case, he will go one by one checking all of them, whether it's happening or not, whether they're coming up or not. Then we are saying the corresponding videos from that category should be displayed. So the meaning of that is, if I click on funny, funny video should come. If I click on cute, cute video should come. That's the meaning of that. And the title should be as per the category. Again, when I click on funny, the title should be of that. The first video should come up as per the test data. So again, you will be referring to this test data sheet, and what is the first video for this, whether that is coming or not. What is the first video for the funny, whether that is coming up or not. So team, it's like this. So we started with a very, very fundamental steps where we don't know how to validate this. We just written it as something like to do and what to expect. We have just made into a little bit of format. Again, I told you it's not into the complete standard format of the test case that we try to do it, which we'll be definitely doing it as we move. But we made it as a very simple thing like a test case ID. Every test case will have a unique, because when you write about 900 or 1000 test cases in a project, and then how do you go about searching it? So you should have some unique name for that. And most of these test management tools that we are going to discuss, Quality Center, ALM, whatever it is, it will help us in searching just by entering the ID. If I enter the ID, it will pick up the test case from the entire repository and tell you, hey, this is your test case 555, whatever it is. So it should have a unique ID. And then this is, let's have one important thing that we are missing. Just have that. Sorry. So we can have one important thing is just about the title. Probably we can go on adding about it. So right now you can say we can have people will have test case ID or name. So I would say this is about, well, it's not a good idea to put the ID and title, as we will separate it as we move. I would say validating the categories list in
Shankar?
homely.in. So suppose just to give a, sorry, yeah,
Hey Shankar,
okay,
sorry, I just want to keep a quick check on the timeline. I believe we already
yeah, yeah,
it's past 6. So,
correct.
um, do you think you would need more time, or can
No, no,
we
no, no. I'll
give it a break and
just
ask
2 minutes.
questions, because we need some time for that as well?
I'll just close it in 2 minutes and then we can take up the questions.
All right, thank you.
Is that fine, Karthik? Okay, so I'm just trying to say that this my test case one is trying to validate these categories in the homely list. It's just a unique name for about it. And these are the steps what you're going to verify. This is the expected result, and whether it is happening or not. When we execute the test case, we'll say if one of the step is failing also, this result is going to be a fail. We have about 6 expected results, and if any one of the expected result is not matching also, we'll try to make it as a fail. That we'll look at when we actually go to the next session about executing the test case, and then we will come up with more and more test cases. Yes, in that session you can expect it. We will be having the complete format of the test case. We'll try to make it right from the test case ID, prerequisites as somebody was talking about, the test steps, data, expected result, and everything. So with this, I'll hand over it to Karthik so that we can, or we can look at the questions if there are anything that we can immediately answer it, which are important. How many test cases does a test engineering will write and execute per a day? So as per my experience, or in general in the industry standard also goes like this. There are different categories of test cases: simple test cases, medium test cases, complex test cases. So putting together, I would say somebody can write about in a day. Again, first of all, let's try to define what is a day. Definitely you will not be given a so much of number of hours to do it. It's typically the 8 hours of working day. In that 8 hours of working day, you will have to attend a couple of meetings that are very important, and you'll have to check your emails and things like that. So when we estimate as a test lead, we normally take it about 6 to 6.5 hours for the junior engineers, and 6 hours for the middle engineers, things like that. So in a 6 hours of time, how many test cases I can execute, how many test cases I can write. So like this, if you try doing it, I can write about 15 to 20 test cases per a day. General 15 test cases you can assume at the beginning, because this is a very fast, but as you practice, you will definitely be able to write it in a better. So let's say 15 test cases per a day. You can write. How many I can execute? It will be again around 10 to 12 test cases that I can execute, because when you execute, it's not just the thing from the UI. Sometimes you may have to do validate from the backend also. You may have to validate certain things on the business layer also. So I would say the fair number at this moment is like 10 to 12 test cases per a day you can execute. On an average, how many people in a team of QA, and how it is work divided. So when we go into the sessions of estimations and when we do it as a project together, we can, in the sense like when we divide the teams and all, yes, we will try to divide it as per the real-time scenarios, but it all depends on the complexity of the project. If a simple feature is given like this, probably 1 or 2 people will validate it. But if entire application has to be verified, then I might have a team of 4 to 5 people. So it depends on the complexity of the project. Testers will do everything in the sense like, yes, what is expected out of the testers in terms of checking the quality. Checking the quality, you will do everything, but you don't, for example, your job is to find the bugs and report it, but you're not going to fix them. So let me clear on that. If somebody has to say validate, do everything, you're not going to fix them. But if you give inputs, like more clear inputs, like we will discuss all that when we actually execute the test case. Like as soon as you find a defect, what you should do? You should clearly report out the error, the screenshot, the messages what you're getting it. So at least that is expected out of you. Not you're not going to fix anything. Is test step also called a test case? No. Test steps are the test steps of that particular test case. To do one particular test case, what are the steps I'm going to do? In writing the test case, is everything going to be the same if you use different web browsers for homely.n? So that comes under a part of testing called compatibility testing, especially browser compatibility testing that he is trying to emphasize. So you can simply say another test case, run this test case one on different browsers like IE, Firefox, the Safari. So you can have another test case mentioning run the test case one on all these different browsers. Expected result, it should work on all the browsers. So at this time we're focusing on functionality. We'll definitely talk about it: browser compatibility testing, security testing, performance testing, and other things like that. Yeah. when I'm going to have this 2 days recording because I have to practice. So probably Karthik will answer it after this. Yeah, I'm done with Karthik.
All right, Shankar, great, thank you. So, guys, let me see. Why am I not able to see some of these questions right now? Oh, there you are. Okay. So the recordings are already there on the website. I showed it to you yesterday also in the session where it will be there. Let me quickly try and bring that URL up and put it up on chat. Or you know what? The best thing is you've already been sent an email earlier today by our team members of where the recordings are for the day one. That same place will have the day two recording as well. And it'll be in the same page that we will continue to have all the sessions that we do as part of this live program that you'll have access to. And Shankar, once again, thank you so much. I know I'm sorry, audience, that we went a little over time, but I believe it was essential to go through and bring it to a kind of a conclusion in what topics we're trying to cover. And the approach but we're trying to take is very simple, team. How do we do it in real time? What is our approach? How do we go about creating these templates, making sure that the test cases are expanded? How do we create those test steps which can be taken by any member in the QA organization and be able to understand easily and say, oh, okay, this is how what I need to do right now. So we don't need to really be able to sit beside them and train them on what to be done, because when you work in a remote organization, rather in a distributed teams, these kind of documentation steps help you. One of the significant skills that we all need to possess in the IT industry, and specifically for the software testing field, is the art of documentation. How do we document? How do we make sure that it is explicitly clear and legible for anyone to understand and reproduce? That is becomes very essential, and that's exactly what has been mentioned with the presentation from Shankar so far. So, team, regarding the next steps, day three is on the coming Monday. So today we are on Tuesday, and we have so Tuesday is 10th, and the next session is 16th. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have about 5, 6 days in between. That gives you enough time to watch the videos that are there in the chapter 1 and 2 in the software testing. We will also send you an email about the same to get a light orientation on these fundamental concepts. That will help us to move forward in a faster manner, be able to cover the remaining topics. Regarding the course fees and payments, team, instead of you having to pay individually with each of them, what we've done is we've put a QA and QC pack to the end. Shankar, since you're the presenter, why don't you quickly take me to the ITeLearn website, please, to the pricing page? We've kept the videos there at the end of the pricing page, and you'll be able to quickly register and start from there. To be able to attend the QA/QC live training and live project, you will be looking at this specific feature at the end. Yes, the 1 year videos. So this covers the live training, live project, everything that we are doing with the QA and QC along with Jira Bugzilla. So you all you need to do is click on the 1 year videos for $350, which is a combined package, and get registered on that. And that is how you can start with. If you are a member for Master of Software Testing, this is free. This is included within it for you. Uh, for anyone who's joined in the last 1.5 years since when we started, they have access to the 3 year package. So anytime in that 3 years, they can continue to attend any of the sessions in that area. So that's the most package that you can have. And I've also said what you can take if you just are interested in this package. And team, if there are any further questions that have not been handled as of this session, we would love to do it. Please feel free to catch us on email or chat, and or the best thing is to email. We'll consolidate all the top 10, 20 questions and send it across to everyone else. Uh, that's it from us today. Thank you so much for attending. The day three is a premium session. If you have not a paid member, you will have to make a payment to continue the sessions then. But then, you know what, you have about 5 days to go through everything else, complete your payment, become a premium member, and so on. Do it the earlier the better, so that you'll get access to watch all the videos that you need right now for the next 5, 6 days to be able to be ready for day three. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shankar, again, once again. Take care. Bye for now. Thanks, all. Thanks, Shankar. Bye then.
Thank you.
Bye.